them down. I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
Monica, this could be a whole other podcast right now because I'm like, preach, girl, because I'm just starting to get comfortable. Listen, Monica, here's the thing. People get something real big out of being a victim.
Yes.
And when I work with folks and they say, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to be this person, and I will say, no, yeah, you do.
Yeah. Just trying to think. I think I'm going to purchase more, like, this thing is annoying, like an actual nice coffee table type of thing, maybe on Facebook Marketplace or something that has more space.
We could use
purchase a
like a nice
room.
coffee table.
Yeah.
Oh, probably get a nice cup. It's gracious. I'm just a big old can. Which, hey, they don't sponsor me, so I'm not trying to.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's Tim Cruikshank's Bone Frog coffee.
You can almost not see it.
Oh,
yeah. He's actually, a few months ago sent us like 4 bags of coffee, 2 T-shirts, 2 coffee mugs, just because he's awesome.
Wicked nice guy.
Yeah, he's such a good guy, and he's so calm. Like every time we talk to him, I just feel like he's just so like calm.
I knew I forgot something. Oh, he's got the tablet. Son of...
What do we need?
I wanted to use a tablet for like an intro for Ari.
She's awesome. Will work.
Exactly. This
awesome.
Is Ari.
The end. Awesome. Arrow.
So what I was going to do, Ari, I was just going to do like a little bit of an intro for you because you have a lot, and I was going to allow you to introduce yourself because I feel like you are much more capable of doing that than I am. So.
Oh, I would be the most like, I'll give you a one-liner and then I'm good.
Okay.
Folks can experience me more than, you know what I think about our like bios and stuff. I think that's the past. And so I would rather work in the present and the experience of today.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I was literally just going to read your headline and introduce you as a media personality, host, and keynote speaker, and igniting joy and results, and go from there. Is that good for you?
Perfect.
Okay. Well, you want to do the intro, babe? I hate the worst freaking part. It's so awkward every time.
How do you say your last name?
Medrano. Medrano. Yeah.
Ari
Medrano. Say something from your heart, because I agree with you. I'm the same way about like intros. I'd rather you just speak straight from the hip. And when people want to read up about accolades and all that other stuff, they can go look up.
Exactly.
How you experience me. And to me, that's way more authentic than reading a bio.
I agree.
Right. Well, want me to start? Welcome to the Matt and Monica podcast, where we have Ari Medrano with us. And if there's anything I can just say right now is you need her in your life. She is amazing, and she makes you so happy. Her energy is amazing. She is a media personality, host, and keynote speaker. She's igniting joy and results. She's also an inspirational brand ambassador. Welcome, Ari.
And thank you. It's been way too long.
Yeah, for real.
Y'all are the best. Thank you so very much for having me. And I think that everybody needs y'all in their life too. So like attracts like.
Exactly. I'm going to start right at the beginning when we first talked. I wasn't at a very good point in my life. It was just a difficult day. And looking back now, though, it was a very valuable point in my life because, as we all know, adversity is so incredibly important. And I remember that day, I believe I was on my lunch in my truck, and I decided to connect with this person that I met through LinkedIn. And just so happens this individual helped me out immensely. And I remember going home and talking to Monica about it. I'm like, I talked to this lady in my truck today, and it changed my perspective.
Yep.
And your positivity is very similar to Monica's, which, by the way, has annoyed the hell out of me throughout our 8 years together. No, and
love it.
Really though, it's, those moments where it was so hard and so dark, where she was positive no matter what and just optimistic. And
I think one time you were like, I can't right now. Because I was like, don't worry, everything will be okay. And you're just like, not right now. And I totally do understand that, because not everything is, think positive. Everything's going to be okay. It's a little deeper than that. And him talking to you and you giving him your time and your love, like he came home and just like blurted everything to me. And I thank you for that. And it's special people like you that, give yourselves to other people that need you. Yeah. Thankful for that.
So much. No, I absolutely receive that. And the reason I receive it, right, is because you never know how you impact someone, right, on the other end of you, right? And not everyone, as you say, are in a place to receive something.
Right.
And when we connected, it was going to be something completely different than what God had in mind, quite frankly. Right? I mean, we can have all the plans in the world, and then there's God's plan.
Yeah.
Right? So he was like, well, how cute that y'all thought you were going to meet over X, Y, or Z. However, there is a greater need. And that's what spoke to me right away. And so it blesses me to know that, because I actually also make some pretty, I think they're big sacrifices, but they're pretty normal to me now, where I'm not someone that watches. We're on earlier getting ready for this podcast, and you were asking me about some TV shows, and I'm like, I don't watch TV. Like I for the last 4 years, unless there's like a specific something, then I will watch for.
That's why we are so happy, because we don't watch TV either.
Actually, someone we just spoke with, we told them that we don't watch the news, and they're like, that's why you're so happy. And we're like, yeah, we're told that all the time, but I think it is so true.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing, our minds don't know the difference between reality and like what's true and what's not true. So when we sit there and we watch these things, our minds take them in as we are the ones experiencing that, right? Yep. So it's like by proxy. So I protect, garbage in, garbage out, pain in, pain out, kind of thing. And so we get to decide what we have come within us, right? And how much of that. Right. And so it goes from television to music and all the things. I mean, we repeat all of these things that are going into our subconscious, and then we wonder why we're a bunch of balls of anxiety, triggering one another off all the time. And so, when we get to decide what goes in, we get to decide what goes out.
Yeah, it's kind of like we always talk about, you are your company, and whatever and whoever you surround yourself with, you're going to take that in and maybe morph into that. And it might not be the best thing for you if you're trying to be a positive, happy person and you surround yourself with these people that are pulling you down. It's okay to kind of move away from that.
Right. And I do believe that there is a space for grief and for hurt and for pain. Absolutely. And I believe in honoring that space, but doing that intentionally, right? And not just letting it kind of seep or leak out of you. So when you don't honor that space, that's when you get triggered and people just start rubbing up against each other in a very negative space. But when you honor those spaces, within you and give them the energy that they deserve, and in the way that you can kind of control that, meaning I know I'm grieving right now. I know I'm hurting. I know I'm in whatever space I'm in, and I'm going to allot the time to address that. That's fine. But when you lead with the space of victimization or hurt and pain in all areas, that stuff leaks all over you. So I like you, am very intentional about the people that I surround myself with, because stinking thinking leaks all over you.
Yep, that is 100% true.
Yeah. You mentioned victimization. I just want to throw this out there while I have it on my mind. It's not, I don't think there's a lot of people that do it in, the vast majority of the world, I believe. They go through a hard time and they very well may have every reason to point their finger elsewhere. And I've could have done that for the past 2 years of my life, but it doesn't do any good when you can, rather than pointing your finger elsewhere, you can still point at yourself, not saying you're taking the blame, but there's so much in our own lives that you can control. And I just think more people need to realize that, because you can, like, between physical fitness, mental health, your spirituality, like all those things are so damn important, and people just like to put no effort into it. And and
here's the thing, and I love that you brought that up, because that is something that I really make an emphasis on. Like, if I could put, when you're texting is like the emphasis of the two. What are they? The word in Spanish is coming up in my head, y'all. Oh my God! Exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Can't help in Spanish. So the two big bold exclamation marks, is yes. There are some pretty horrific things that happen in life, 100%. But there's also some really amazing things that happen in life, 100%. And we have an opportunity to learn from everything, not just the good, but also the challenging. And you miss the opportunity to grow in the pain when you decide you have zero accountability in anything. So when it's your fault, or and I'm just going to go in, because y'all know
do it.
Who don't know me, you're about to get to know me. Because I give it to you straight with no chaser, because I love you, I care about you, and I don't know any other time that you're going to run across this podcast or someone like me. So here I go. Because I care about you, I'm going to do this. I'm not for
That's why we love you.
So when I come from a place of it is your fault because you raped me, because you shot me, because you molested me, because you insert the most horrific energy of, yes, you were a victim because you were victimized. I am not saying that I am responsible for the acts of another human being by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, I have been in that space, right, where I have been raped. Yes, I have been in that space where I've had a child who has been molested. Yes, I have been in that space where I had a brother who was shot down 26 times, blasted all over. I'm not just talking about it. It's something that I'm being about, right?
Yes.
If I just came out of that by saying, it is your fault, shooter, it is your fault, molester, it is your fault, rapist, it is your... I get nothing out of that but anger, hurt, bitterness, pain, the fingers all going out, right? But if I take full accountability, and I know that's going to hit people like, what the heck are you talking about, crazy mom? Listen to where the gift is on the other side of that. When I take personal accountability of this is an event that happened, I am not responsible for the event. But if I truly look in and go, if I was to take full accountability for the results of what happened, did my rapist say to me that I am ugly and dirty and nobody would ever love me? Or did I say that to me after the act that was done? Did they say to my child that you would never be whole, never be healed, never loved? Or did he take that in from an act, but yet I didn't help him heal from that and see something else on the other side? So there are these gifts that we can have when we let go of their neck, which, by the way, it's not their neck that we're holding on to. It's our own neck that we're holding on to. But if we can release it and go, okay, where is the exhale in this? Where can I see that it wasn't them, but it was me? Again, not the act, but the results of what I created because of an event that was created in my life. I'm not responsible for the creation of that. However, I am 100% responsible for how I respond to that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we talk about all the time about people's journeys and what they need to overcome. It's how they react. It's how they respond to any trauma or victimization or anything. It's how you respond. And that's something that isn't really taught by anybody, really, in the schools, parents, whatever. I mean, you can blame it on anybody you want for not teaching it, but there needs to be more awareness of you need to grow from all of this trauma. It's like stepping stones. It's like, I think I was talking to Bernard Tony Jr. You go down a path, it's smooth, and everyone wants a smooth path. Of course, they want the easy path, but you're not picking and pulling stuff on a rough path that you're bumping each side, dinging and scraping and stuff. You're not pulling all of that experience and wisdom and stuff that you're learning. Like you should want to maybe go through a hard life. That's how you level up, And I often tell Matt, I feel like, for me personally, I feel like I am a warrior. I've been through a lot of stuff in my past too. And it's in my mind, I hear like a blacksmith, like tink, tink, making that armor or that sword or, just, I feel like everyone is so capable of learning how to feel like that and growing into someone that they're supposed to be and find their purpose. And it's people like you that are telling their story to give them hope that they can do it. They can get through it. And I want people to hear your story. Yeah. How did you become this beautiful, amazing human being? And how did you find the strength to tell your story?
Oh my goodness. The simple answer, and I'll go into it in detail, is truly, it's faith, focus, action. commitment. Mm-hmm. Those are the absolute pillars and the thread that I've seen throughout my life, right? Because it's been hit after hit after hit after hit. Right. And it's just when you think I'm about to, I'm coming up for water, it's here we go again, and here we go again, right? And it's okay. What do I need to do within those moments of exhale, right? To get up and armored up again, to your point, right?
Yeah.
And it really is those things. And so I have, quite frankly, all my life, I joke around and I tell people, it's not even joking around, it's the truth. I'm a mosaic masterpiece under all of this because of all the cutting and probing and all of the things. I've had tumors after tumors after tumors. I've talked about, yes, the emotional things that have happened, right? And quite frankly, some criminal things that have happened. And on top of that, there have been some major physical ailments that have happened, right? And so I started out with heart disease, 28 years old. I had a 21% heart function. I was given 30 days to live. I was 6 months pregnant. He was born at 4 pounds, 9.5 ounces, and, a quarter of a lung. Yet here I am at 52 years old. I'm not looking too shabby, by the way.
You look fabulous.
Yes.
Oh my God. Clearly I didn't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't just that. It was that. And then, I had throat tumors. I've had tumors over my uterus. I flipped in a car 3 times, by the way, y'all. Came out completely unscathed. I've had neck surgery. And then the ultimate was, just 5 short years ago, I had brain surgery. They found a tumor in my brain. And my husband decided to leave me at that time. And wow, talk about being hit physically, emotionally, psychologically, all the things. If there was ever a moment to go, that is it. After all that I have been through, screw anything and anybody. This is a crapped up life. I had all the reasons to go there.
Right.
But yet I have evidence in my life, and anyone that's hearing right now, I please want you to remember that you already have evidence in your life that you can do hard things. This is just another thing.
Yeah.
And you do have these tools in you. You just have to come beside someone to help excavate these tools out of you. You've already been given everything. And so for me, it is, yes, it's really utilizing that faith muscle that the Lord had already been growing that in me, right? With all of these events that have happened in my life, as gruesome, as horrible as they all were for myself, for my family, extended folks, that was a muscle that was already being utilized. That was baby girl, our Papa God was like, I got you. You were created for such a time as this. And although the doctors gave me a diagnosis, which was once I had the full craniotomy. So I had a full craniotomy. What that means is they pull your face down completely. They drill in your head. They take out the tumor. 7 staples later, I woke up paralyzed, and they shipped me off to rehab to learn how to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. This is the golden nugget that I share with folks time after time after time now that I have proven the receipts of this. So I don't just talk about it, I be about it, is that anyone can give you a diagnosis. A psychiatrist, a psychologist, a doctor, anyone can give you a diagnosis. But the prognosis, see, that's between me and Daddy. And we
I love it.
decide the results of our life.
Yep.
Period. And so how I decided was faith, focus, action, and commitment. And so now I have dedicated completely my life into speaking about that mindset, that miracle mindset. I am the 1% medical miracle. It's called what do they say? Healing, right? Nothing spontaneous about it. It took a lot of work for sure.
Yeah.
To get on the other side. But when you are completely committed, to the faith, to having action, to having complete, focus into all of that. And then what that means, you got to be gritty and graceful through all of this. And so the beauty, however, on the other side that's waiting for you on the other end of those commitments, the results of your life are, I am walking today.
Yeah.
Those are the results I get to create.
Yeah. Besides your faith, was there anyone that was by your side the entire time that helped you along?
Yes and no. I would say, yes, it's important to have those folks around you already, right? That team that comes alongside of you. And those are few and far between, let me tell you, that are going to say to you, we got this, and you're walking, and screw that wheelchair. No, because I had family members that were like, well, don't worry, we'll bedazzle the wheelchair because you love pink and you love, glitter. And I'm like, oh, you're crazy, Jack. I am not going to be in a wheelchair. And by the way, since that's what you think, you want to roll with me, we're not rolling together.
Man.
That's not happening here.
Love it.
So I'm going to have to put a pause on your access to me right now. Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
a therapist that was the same way, who he had decided I was like everybody else. And so he had me bound to the things of someone who would never walk again. So there are people in your life that will only see you where you are at and not where you are going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to have those people that see the future present and that are pulling from a past present or limited mindset, right? Or what only we can see on a worldly way. So I do say yes and no. So yes, I had some of those warriors, which were fantastic, right? So they were able to dream with me, go with me on walks, because I went there in my mind first. Like that is where you go first. That energy, that excitement of I am walking, I'm in the mountains. Well, first of all, I was on Rodeo Drive buying some real I'm just gonna be real. Listen, you can dream the way you want to dream. I get to dream the way I want to.
That's so funny. I love it.
I had these really cute Fendi tennis shoes in my mind. They were all blinked out. Fendi, feel free to send me some. Right. And so you get to create the energy behind this. And that's where I went in my mind. And then my warrior friends were alongside with me. Right. And so, yeah, absolutely. The nurses, shout out to my nurses. Goodness gracious. I spoke to my body every night that I was in the hospital. And what I mean by that is I would look at my toes and be like, come on, little toe, you got this. We got this. What are you doing today? Bend every night until literally what I was creating in here and in here came to fruition of my legs. And then
that's incredible.
Little toe move. I was like,
oh, yes.
Man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And they became my champion cheerleaders, and we did that on a nightly basis.
Man, that's something most people on this planet will never be able to like rationalize or relate to. Is like, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be paralyzed, and you were still able to maintain faith that you would somehow overcome that. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Were there points where you were like down in the dumps and like, I can't do this also in that same time frame, or?
Absolutely. No, I will tell you no. Once I had the vision in my head, you couldn't get me out of there. I didn't care who you were, what you said, get out of town. Like, it was 100% sold out for the goal. This is what's happening. I didn't even stop to think. I didn't know that it would happen in 21 days, by the way.
You said that was 5 years ago?
This was 5 years ago.
So, you know what's crazy is I just realized this in my head. More than likely, the reason you were able to overcome that is because of the extreme adversity. You've already learned how to deal with bullshit that life's going to throw at you. So it's like the worst, the incredibly hard adversity that you've already been through, and that probably amplified your relationship with God. And you were able to utilize that to overcome something that probably every doctor on this planet, like, no way in hell.
You've proven to yourself so many times, hey, I got over this. I got over this. This right now is maybe the hardest thing you've ever been through, but you're going through it and you're going to come out how you want it to end up. Like, you're making that decision.
100%.
My gosh.
It's beautiful.
If only everyone could understand truly that we get to decide the results of our life. Period. If I could go from wheelchair to dance floor in 21 days, what the flip are you all waiting for? Like, I'm sorry. I don't understand. Right? But,
oh my gosh.
I do understand, but then I don't. We need to be so incredibly careful about what we are creating in our lives, because if we're not happy with the results of our life, guess what? I'm going to say to you, you must be absolutely happy with the results of your life because you created it.
Yeah.
Right. Something different?
Put work in.
Yep. Yeah.
You get to decide.
Make a choice. Change something.
That's the thing, though. I don't want to say not everyone. A lot of people don't want to put the work into it. It's too hard. It's taking too much time. They don't see their future getting better because where they are right now, they feel like they're stuck there.
Yeah.
And they are, because they said they are.
Right.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
And when someone says, I will never, I believe you. I just heard you. So I call it, it's literally your self-talk equals your cell talk, right? So we have to be so incredibly mindful about what we are saying, because what we are saying, we are listening to ourselves, and ourselves are listening. So what are you deciding with the words that you are speaking? When people use the words I am or I have, when it comes to anything, a physical ailment, emotional, whatever it is, when you claim something, you give no room for healing.
Yeah.
Because your body is going, okay, we got this. So why the heck should it work towards anything else?
Yeah.
Right.
When I learned to speak to my body, because I did, and shout out to my friend who taught me this back when I had heart disease. When I was 28 years old, he called me. He was living with 7 T cell counts at the time. And he says, I'm going to teach you something. It's going to sound so woo-woo, but I trust and know that the reason I walk today is because of the way I speak to myself. So he taught me, speak to your heart, to speak to the beats, speak to your blood, speak to your lungs, speak to your mind, all of it, every single night. And I have done that practice forever. So you remember when we were children and we had all these science projects, and we all know this project. I'm going to say it and you all are going to go, oh yeah, that's the one. You have 2 plants. One of the plants you speak trash to.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
You speak trash and it dies.
Mm-hmm.
The next plant, you speak life, tell it how beautiful it is, tell it how healthy it is, and it's blooming and love it. That is only a plant. However, it has cells. It's a living organism. We are greater even than that. So imagine, again, y'all, remember, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
And that's with our own selves and ourselves. What are we saying to ourselves? And the Lord says the power of life and death is in the tongue. Like, hello, how much more science do we need? We see it in the book. Even greater with us. What are you speaking over your life?
Yeah.
I wonder why it's not pushed more in society to love ourselves.
Yes.
Like that should be almost like number one, and then everything else behind that.
Think about it. If it is very powerful, which I believe it is, and it were to cure a lot of things, there's no financial incentive behind it then for the way the system is and
It's so sad because like I think about it and I think about people thinking about their younger selves, or not even their younger selves, just them now. Like if they were kind of like an outer body experience and they were looking at themselves being sad, wouldn't you hug yourself and love yourself and try to make yourself feel better?
Yeah.
You know, so don't wait until you're feeling like that.
Yeah.
You know, do it. Love yourself every day.
Right. And do things that'll remind you of that. You know, I have right over to the left of me a little picture of myself as a first grader. You know, I've worn glasses forever, so my little glasses. Sorry, Mom used to break them all the time.
Whoops.
5 kids and this girl decides to just break them. Oh my gosh. But I remind myself of her I'm reminded of her every time because of all that I have gone through. And it's so important to speak to that younger self and go, hey, by the way.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You know, I've heard positive self-talk for so long, and I've never thought I'd be sitting here, let alone on a podcast, but talking about positive self-talk. And I didn't realize how hard I was on myself till like the last year. You know, I've spent the majority of myself just associating everything good that's ever happened to me is luck. Yeah. I lucked out mainly because most of my friends and family, and not so much family, a lot of my friends would be like, man, you know, you're so lucky. And I am. I'm very fortunate. I'm blessed. But it's like, I realize, honestly, it's just being a decent person to people. Like that's been the forefront of all the success that I have had. And other than maybe her, you know, I did luck out with her, but like, she's such a good person. And if you
goes both ways.
Yeah, I agree. I try to think I'm a pretty decent person, but I never ever would have said that a couple of years ago. I would just be like, yeah, I got lucky. And I listened to someone recently, I think it was a short or somebody famous, but they said, you know, I like me and I'd buy myself a drink, and I can say that. I'm like, you know what? I agree with that. You know, I like who I am. I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with the way I treat other people. And just people need to be easier on themselves because
we're only human and we're here for such a short time. And we're supposed to learn so much and grow.
In a world that's trying to make you everything that you're not.
Yes.
Oh,
100%.
100%. We get to decide, right? I get to decide my narrative unless I hand that over to someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's on me, right? It's nobody else but me. I get to decide the results of my life. I get to decide what impacts me, regardless of what comes my way. Literally, regardless of what comes my way. I get to decide how I either react and or respond. And that comes with, as Matthew, you were saying earlier, that yes, it's I have been created for such a time as this. That muscle was being worked out. So every time that hit and that next hit and that next hit, it was God was showing me, I know what's coming and I'm going to prepare you for it. You've got this. You're good. You have evidence. And I say to everyone here that's listening, oh, it's going to make me emotional just thinking about it. Whatever it is that you're going, even that thing that you go, there is no way that you're talking to me because you don't know what I've gone through. Or on the other end, healing for you is on the other side. And you are absolutely worthy of healing on the other end. No matter what it is, there isn't anything that's bigger than, quite frankly, the beauty of you. And if you don't see the beauty in you, oh God, brother or sister, I am just going to ask you to borrow my faith in you. Yeah. Because you absolutely got this. You're not alone. And you have a million different life evidence in your life already that you can do hard things. And always, come what may, the healing is on the other end of you because of the pain that you've already endured. Right. And don't miss the opportunity to heal. And it leaves them the opportunity and space to walk in joy because now you've made room for it. Yeah. What means the opportunity.
I love that.
So
much.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I've always said, why not? If you are going through hard times and you're going to, people don't realize suffering is going to hit you whether you want it to or not at some point in your life.
No matter what.
If you've exhausted every option, there's so many people that will be so quick to turn to drugs to numb their issues. Like, why not give faith a try? I mean, there's plenty of incredibly help. All these and like you get these Navy SEALs and some of the most hardened individuals on the entire planet. You know, like Nick Lavery said, there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. And I think there's a reason why it took me 36 years to really find my faith. You know, I went to church as a kid and stuff, but I wish it didn't take me to be knocked down to my knees to finally just try it. Because I bet there's a lot of people out there that are in the same exact boat and they think they've tried everything, but I don't know. Just try praying to God like you just try it.
Matthew, I'm going to say to you that, and I know this may sound like a gat, people are going to go, what did she just say to him? I don't care. I'm going to say it. I'm glad that it didn't happen any quicker for you.
Me too. I am.
Yeah. Because now you're the role model for all those people that it didn't happen quick like that. There's many of folk who it happened instantly, or they've been in that space since they were 1, 2, 5, 0, whatever it is. And they go, oh, well, yeah, I can't relate to you because, I mean, you've had, beauty and roses and the white picket fence all your life. And there are people like that. And I'm not putting them down at all. There's a space for all of us. But the beauty and the space that you give is the reason why we're here today.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I do praise God for that. And you were created for such a time as this.
We've said that, I think, a couple of times talking about time, because he will often say that he wishes when he was younger, he knew what he knew now then. But I was like, things would be so different right now. Like I need to thank the destruction or all the crazy stuff in my past. I need to thank the universe for that, or thank God for that, or whatever it is, because I wouldn't be who I am today by any means if it didn't happen. And same with you, everybody in this world. And it saddens me that people are so afraid to heal. And sometimes I feel like people don't want to heal because they're so, I don't want to say content, but I don't know what the word is. They're just so used to being in this saddened place or time in their life that they're just going with emotion.
I'm so used to life letting them down. I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
Monica, this could be a whole other podcast right now, because I'm like, preach, girl, because I'm just starting to get comfortable. Listen, Monica, here's the thing. You get something real big out of being a victim.
Yes.
And when I work with folks and they say, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to be this person, and I will say, no, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And the reason I know it is because you keep being that person. So let's get real and talk about the real things that you are gaining that you see as gifts on the other end of your victimization. Let's get real and talk about that. It gives you a chicken exit to not do the flipping hard work. It gives you a chicken exit to go, oh, it's them, it's not me. It gives you a chicken exit to be like, oh, woe is me. Yeah, give me money. Yeah, give me more time. Yeah, give me more things. Yeah. Don't. You really want to level up? Then get real with you. Get real with what you've created and why you continue to create it, because you're getting something out of this.
Right.
But when you finally get real about being real, about the ish that you've created, now we can get somewhere. Because now you can go, okay, I'm ready to do the gritty work. I'm ready to go, I'm not going to blame anybody else. Flippin' A, it is me. Because here's the thing. The problem is you. The problem is you.
For all the listeners.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You know, even when I work with young women and older women and men and women, just period. Everybody.
Everyone.
Everybody. I'm just going to catch you all in this. When you say, oh no, why are there so many toxic people? Why are there so many I don't know. I go, why are there so many toxic people in your life? That is a fabulous question to ask, because there are 8 billion people. Why do you find all the toxic ones? Let me get started.
Let the gears turn a little.
And the reality is that every one of those relationships that, by the way, you attracted, the common denominator is you. So would you like to attract something else? That means we start with you. And the beauty of the harshness, yes, I tell you, I give it to you straight with no chaser. I have no problem with that, because I also know the beauty on the other side of the realization of, yes, the problem is you. By the way, the problem is me. That's how I know, because I was the one that attracted all of them. I have 2 ex-husbands for a reason. The problem was me, right? There can be 100 people. 99 of them are amazing. The 1% jackhole I find, and I'm married. Right? So both the jackholes. And why is that though? Right? Why is that? So I can only attract who I actually am and not who I think I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Say that again. Somebody who needs to hear it. You know, it's, and you've got to really figure out, who do I think I am? Like, are you just jiving yourself that I'm like this great, amazing person, or what qualifies you for that? Right. And so it's really getting down and deep into that. And the beauty of realizing that the problem is you, that also then lends you to the opportunity of understanding that the solution is within you.
Exactly.
So perfectly spoken. Man. My gears are just like, my brain's like with everything right now. And everything you're saying is like so spot on. Like so spot on.
Only because I've done it all, y'all.
Yeah.
The problem was me.
Well, it's just like with the shit that I've been through in my past, and I don't ever want anyone to think like, don't feel bad for me. I'm not a victim. Things happened to me that were out of my control. And, you know, I finally made a choice to get out of that, because like you're saying, when you're attracting all this bad negativity or bad people, like that's who I was with. And then, you know, doing bad things or just feeling down and sad all the time. And then, you know, it takes time to grow and, you know, kind of get out of your slump that you're in. And it's taken me 15 years to be where I am today. And I do love myself. And I don't know. I'm not conceited by any means. I'm probably like one of the least conceited people I've ever met. You know, I'm self-conscious a lot of the times, even if I don't look like it or act like it. I do love myself. And I love my friends at my old work would pick on me because they're like, Monica loves love, hearts and rainbows around her all the time. And she's so happy all the time, like all this stuff all the time. So positive.
We are that annoying couple. We are that annoyingly in love.
Yes, but I love being like that. And I feel like my energy, I just want to give to you. You have some, you take some. There's enough for everybody. Yeah. And it's not like I only have a little bit to give. Yeah, you get some and you get some, and I want everyone to have it.
That's why she's perfect working at elementary school. Those kids need love more than you or I need love. These kids need love right now. Right.
But just talking about people feeling worthy, like that is such a big thing for me, because people that are so down, they feel like they're not worthy. Why would they even try? And even people that you might not like, people you might not get along with, like everyone has purpose. And if you can just show a little bit of kindness to your enemies or whatever you want to say, that changes everything. Like you can't, like we're saying earlier, you cannot fight evil with evil.
It really is a light switch decision where anybody can just turn their life around. Like now, right this second, any person on this planet, and I specifically obviously have a major connection with like addiction and stuff. Not me personally, but losing my sister to an opioid battle. I believe when it comes to addiction, the only thing holding you back is yourself and your belief. If you label yourself as an addict and I can never beat this, you're never going to. But I really think if people have the right mindset and they're able to have hope, they're able to hear a story like hers, like you can do it. You really can. And if you're not doing it and you're going to play the victim game, you're just going to sit there in the same circumstances and do nothing about it, but still complain, like, shut up.
Yeah.
What 100%. And so another one, again, it's the ability to hold, joy and pain in the same hand is like, I'm literally the resilience expert in that. I have the receipts of it. And I'm still walking in that right now. I have a son that's in prison right now. He's doing 8 years. He's been in there 3 years, and it is all behind mental health and addiction, and those are the conversations that I have with them. I speak with them almost on a daily basis. And it's got it. You created a narrative in your head that you are holding on to for dear life. How's that working for you?
Right.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
How's it working for you? And would you like to live the same life for the next 30 years? Because you can, or you can be open to another level of understanding, healing, accountability, like all of the things, right? And having those tough conversations within, but being open to those, right? And so it's such a dance, right? Also being on the other side of it, right? It's on the familial, side, and knowing that it is 100% their journey, but as especially a mother on the other side of it is allowing them to have it be, yes, their journey, being a champion for the journey that they're in, but knowing, and this is what I say to him, I hold you capable enough to work this out because you are strong enough and you do have all the tools that you need. You just have to decide. Yeah. What are you going to do?
They have to deep down understand that they're the ones in control, not anything else, nothing
not what
else.
was done to me, not what, and I get that. All of that stuff is true. That is horrible. All these things that you and our family were part of the victimization of, but how much longer are you going to allow that to control your life? Because you're giving life to that life, not anyone else, not anyone else who did anything else. Like that event is done and over. You're the one deciding to continue it and to perpetuate it and to still pay a price. You're the one paying the biggest price. You get to decide, do you still want to continue that price or not? Yeah. And I love you regardless, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So being able to hold that, giving truth and grace, right? At the same time and holding, pain and joy. Yep. At the same time. And it's all possible for it. Out there listening, right? It is who are holding pain. I just ask you to do work, right? And it is work to allow space for joy. And for me, one of the ways that I was able to do that was laying it all out on the table for God and being angry and being hurt and crying. And listen, there isn't anything that, for me, my higher power is Jesus, whoever your higher power is. I'm just letting you know right now, like for me, in order to get through something, there's got to be something greater than you, because if I'm, and so for me, it is Jesus. And so I'm just going, all right, I am pissed. I am hurt. I am angry. I am all the things. Okay. I've just let that all out. And now that gives me a little bit more room now to be able to have coffee with the girlfriend or take a little vacation or laugh and it be okay. Even though, yes, I have a son that's doing some prison time right now. Jesus knows that sucks. Hard every day, all day. And also though, I can also, like the sign behind me, you can't see the other side, but it says choose happy. I still choose happy.
I just wrote down the word gratefulness because me taking my notes over here so I don't forget them. Choose happy. I think you can make the decision and you can choose. You can put effort into being happy. You can definitely put effort into being grateful. And that is the beauty of, I think, adversity and going through these really difficult times is, I now personally, I wake up in the morning, I'll go outside, I'll hear birds that I wouldn't have heard before. I will look over at her in the morning and I just thank God that I'm fortunate enough to have her in my life. And I think that has helped me deal with anxiety and worry, that because I still have, like you, we're going to continuously go through hard times throughout life. It's pretty much never going to go away. So just embrace it. And it's helped me get to the next day and then some, just, especially with my children and just everything. You can be grateful for, you can find things to be grateful for just as easily, if not easier, than it is to find things to bitch and complain about. Like, I could definitely do that all day long. I have plenty of things to complain about, be miserable about, and upset. But
yeah, I was just thinking how I feel like sometimes people feel like if any of their friends or family are going through a hard time, or if you're going through a hard time, you're not allowed to like switch it off and on, and be happy. I don't know if they maybe feel guilty, like, my so-and-so just lost their pet or something, and you want to be sad for them, and you can. But then if you're laughing, when they're hanging out with you, it's like you have to match their energy. You don't want to be the happy one when that person's going through such a hard time. You don't want to take their emotions away from them or make it like they shouldn't feel like that. So if you're happy and they're sad, I think maybe sometimes people feel they're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think also part of this is sharing with people that there is space for both.
Right.
And giving ourselves permission for that, right?
Right.
And so it's I hope you all hear the ding, because these are the bright ideas that are coming out of my head.
That's amazing. We're like totally ignoring it. Are we like doing good?
No, we are realizing that I am so smart. It's like, Yours is so bright here.
Every time Matt should pop up like a light bulb, boom, like on the video.
Because I don't know if you noticed, because I was like, every time it was right on cue. I was like, that's right, universe. Yes. Because I was like, all moments. You're welcome, listeners. You're welcome. But it's really sharing that opportunity of, let's give space to, early on when we first started this podcast, it was giving the space for grief, right? Acknowledging the grief.
Right.
And then go, hey, what if we do like 5 minutes of allowing our spirit to receive some joy?
Yeah.
Just receive some joy. How do you feel about that? And I know it's going to be hard. And maybe if all you can do is listen to like some stupid jokes I'm about to say, that's enough. Like, let me be the one for you, right? To hold space for that. But it's so incredibly important, because if not, then all you do is hold the grief, and it overflows, and then it spills into other people and places and things. And that's where you get the road rage and employees coming with guns and shooting people down. Like, we were not honoring space and giving it, though, like a time allotment. I used to tell my younger ones, well, they're older now, but when they were little and something horrible would happen, I'm like, that totally sucked. I agree. It sucked. And let's give that 5 whole minutes to be angry and to be mad, and let's scream and let's cry and let's kick and whatever it is. Let's give each other 5 minutes, just get it all out. And then let's do something that would actually bring a smile to our face, and go play outside or go. And they learned this. And so as they got older, they would turn that back on me when something really big would hit. They're like, all right, Mom, we'll give you 5 minutes, or you decide. It sucks.
I love it.
And then you could decide to do something else. And I'm like, how amazing is that? Because it's true. It's honoring all the spaces, because we have no bad parts. All the parts of us are beautiful, including the grieving ones. But let's give space to the good ones too, because the negative ones, the horrific ones, the crappy ones, those too shall pass, as well as the good ones.
Yeah.
Those also too shall pass. So let's leave space for both and see what happens.
Yeah.
There's enough room.
For all of us. All the parts of us, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, Ari, did you ever get into meditating?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. 100%. I do that on a daily basis. Basis. I just started to do last night. So funny that you said that. Last night I did it was a sound meditation bath. Oh my goodness gracious. I've done the breathing. I actually incorporate that in my one-on-ones.
So
that's awesome.
The reason why I asked, because I don't think I talked to you about this with last time we spoke, we actually started utilizing VR guided meditation. And we actually had the CEO of Trip on our podcast. She was our episode 15 back in March. She was like our first big guest, Nanea Reeves. And so just wanted to throw this in real quick. In September of last year, it was kind of like I'm going to say my first rock bottom. I thought it was my rock bottom, but it was my first rock bottom. And it was just, things outside of my control were really, really difficult. And that was the moment where I just decided to physical fitness, just investing in myself, and started meditating and just trying pretty much at everything a little bit harder. And this VR trip on the Oculus, it's a guided breath work. And of course, the sound, everything about it, like they're putting serious time and energy into it. And they're getting really big right now. And there's good reason for it. And highly would recommend it if you ever, I don't know if you have a VR headset or access to one, or as someone you could try it on. But we also had
tried the VR end of it. I'm not opposed to it whatsoever. I think it would just heighten the experience even more.
Yeah.
So. But I am a huge believer in 100% meditation. It's going through like that fourth wall. It's going through, we are literally balls of energy.
Yeah.
And so even I say we graduate to heaven when we're no longer here. We just kind of shed the skin, but we're all here. And I also believe that's why we are more connected when folks graduate to heaven with folks, because they're no longer bound by skin. And so then they're just everywhere. Right. And so I absolutely believe in the meditation and going through into the subconscious, right? And leaving all the other stuff out and being open to the expression. For me, it's a deeper expression of love, of clarity, right? And healing, 100% healing. So yes, thank you for bringing that up, because that's a big deal for sure.
Yeah. I started they do like body scan. Well, there's tons of different types of meditations you can do through it. And like, kind of like you mentioned earlier, it talks about starting at your feet and working your way up the body and thinking about taking that positive energy and releasing the negative energy. And it's
a light.
Yeah. And
people can put a color to it, a light to it. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different levels in the way that we can heal.
It's crazy. I think probably the first time where I actually meditated like 100% the right way. And I hope people know this, like you feel heat or you feel certain ways, because I was like, is the heater on, like blowing on my face? Like what's happening, And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I was talking to Jeremy or not. But
he was the vice president. We had him on our podcast as well. Vice president of Trip. Great guy.
Yep. And so what I did was I did a VR trip meditation with a group that there were like avatars in this room, and someone was talking, and we did it. It was like 45 minutes or so. And it was the best meditation time that I've ever done it, ever. And it just makes you want to keep doing it. You just feel so amazing after. And I want people who are thinking about it, maybe think it's weird or maybe uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. It is new and it is weird at first, but when you get into it and you start practicing it, it is life-changing.
I never thought it could.
It is life-changing.
With ADD and undiagnosed ADD rather, but I never thought in a million years I'd be able to actually stay focused doing it.
Well, I also think for you, or people like you who get distracted easily, the Trip VR is obviously like visual, So for him, it's not just closing your eyes and, or breathing or whatever. It works for people like you probably just so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, there's so many different modalities out there. It's just get curious. Like Alice in Wonderland. I love quoting her. It's like, I just get curiouser and curiouser, right? Curiouser and see what works best for you. It may not work best for me. Like everyone needs to kind of figure that out, but do something. Let's get active about healing, right?
Exactly.
Because you are the one that's going to benefit. And as of default, the rest of the people around you will also.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up.
Is there any other talking points you had?
I don't know. I feel like there's just a million things in my head that I could just talk to you for like hours more and get like deeper into stuff, but it's almost hitting an hour.
Yeah.
But we could always do obviously round 2. Right now, what do you do for yourself now besides like meditating? If you're going through a hard time, do you go for walks in nature? And like, what is your intentional like connection to calm yourself down or to kind of come back to yourself and relax and find joy again if you're going through a hard time?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. And there's different answers. It just depends on what it is that I'm going through at the moment. There isn't a just like, this is the one thing.
Right.
It's always something different, right? And I'm learning that too as I go through things, right? It's like, wait, well, that didn't work this time. What the heck? Why am I still feeling this way, right?
Yep.
And so there's different modalities. So it is meditation. It is tapping, is another thing. It is also understanding that, and we don't talk about this enough, as women of a certain age, even though I look like I'm super young, but also there's this thing called menopause that's out there. And we don't talk about it. And it's like, wait a minute, why am my youngest son and I just started talking about this? Because just recently there was a moment where he was like, that was really weird. Like, I've never experienced you reacting in a certain way. It wasn't a response. It was a reaction. He's like, whoa, that was brand new. And I really thought to myself too, like, whoa, that was, what the heck? Like,
what was that?
Like, what is happening? Am I losing my chart? Like, what? Right. But it's giving myself grace and going, okay, there's something different that's happening.
Right.
Let me get curiouser and curiouser. Right. And so what I realized, that part of it was, oh, wow, it's this whole like premenopausal thing, and there may be an imbalance, and all of a sudden I'm reacting differently. And it was, okay, give myself some grace. What do I need to do now in this new space that I'm in? Right. And so for me, it's like, oh, that's why I'm doing like, oh, the sound bath was amazing. It's like, oh, it's a new level. Right. And again, and I'm sure folks have heard this, like new levels, new devils about things. Right. By the way, I think menopause is a devil.
That's awful.
But it's also
not funny. Like,
it's not funny, but it's also funny. And I love to talk about it because many folks, we don't, as women, we don't talk about it. And I loved even more so talking about it with my son, because he's like, that is great to know, because I'm going to be married one day. And and he just said, Mom, he says, wow, when I look at just like women in general, he says, y'all, we go through periods forever.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, then y'all don't even catch a break, because then you go into menopause. Like then you have babies and you go through all this stuff. And whoa. So he says, it's great for me just to know, as someone who will be invested one day.
Right.
Yeah. And
different.
Honoring, like, let's do, because you think that's a good conversation to have with my wife at some point. Like, what's the pregame plan? I was like, oh, yes. So I cracked open another podcast.
Yeah. Part 2, part 3, part 4. Yeah.
But it changes. So that was the long answer. But to your question, it really does change into what season I'm in. And does this mean that I need to get curiouser about new things? Right. But for me, it really goes back down to what I said is faith, focus, action, commitment, and making sure that I stick to, a regimen of gratitude, right? Of being gritty and being graceful at the same time. And so if I can give you one tool before we say goodbye here to give to folks, and it's going to sound a little bit silly, and folks are going to be like, that's ridiculous. Oh, until you do it, friends.
Right.
Until you do it. So I challenge you all, and then you can all email me later and be like, dang, Ari, okay, got it.
Okay, you're right.
Right. Oh, gosh. So I have a sticky note on my bathroom, right, mirror, and it says, I love you. I forgive you. And so it's looking in the mirror and looking in your own eyes, because you can fool some of the people some of the time. There is no way on God's blessed earth that you're fooling yourself, because you know all the things behind those eyeballs.
Yeah.
And all that unworthiness, right? And all that pain and all the things that you've never shared with anybody else.
Yep.
But when you look in that mirror and you go, I love, and then you say it again, I love you, and then you pause. And I guarantee you that all those things that want to remind you of all the reasons why you're not worthy are going to fall in your head. And you're going to go back in again. Because despite all that, I love you. And then that next layer for all of those tapes that are playing in your head.
Yeah.
And you say, I forgive. And again, all those tapes. And again, you're going to say, I forgive. And as all those tears are streaming down your face and the tape continues to play, all the reasons why you don't deserve to be forgiven, you're going to say, and the last thing you will say to yourself as you sniffle through and grab all those tissues, you're going to say on a daily basis. And as you work out that muscle of loving and forgiving you, it's going to get easier and easier, and you're going to need less tissue as you move along, and you're going to get through it quicker. But loving yourself and you're forgiving yourself is such a sweet formula to the sweetness of life, as you not just go through, but grow through life. Yeah. And so thank you for allowing me to share with the two of you and all your
thank you.
Listeners.
I love it. Thank you And I love you.
Yes. You are like, we don't just say this to every single person. Like, you are like this ball of energy that
Oh, yes.
this world is a better place because of you. And I hope you know that, like, so much and so strongly, and your kids are fortunate as hell to have you as a freaking role model. Like, what better example of a mother or a human being that someone as resilient as you?
Like I said, everyone needs a piece of you. And I want everyone to hear you talk and feel your energy and feel your happiness and your strength. I just want everyone in this world to know that you're amazing, and we are all thankful for you. And I am so thankful to know you. And I'm so glad you guys connected on LinkedIn, because if you guys didn't, then I wouldn't know you.
And for the record, if you go into my bathroom right now and look on the mirror, I put a sticker on there. I swear to God, for the first time in my entire life I've done this. I put a sticker on there, not because I heard it from someone else either. I just did it. It says, "Be a good person." And my kids read it. You know, I put in there for the kids, and it's cool because last week I put a little piece of poster board in the corner of the mirror. Said, "Make one person," what I found, I don't want to paraphrase it. "Make one person feel better," or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Today, or, you know, just make one person feel good about themselves today.
Yep.
And, you know, there's so much power in that. And, you know, screw us, we're all old. I mean, except for you, Ari. No, but our kids, like, they're at that generation where they need that guidance. They need that role model more now than ever.
Yeah. And I feel like now more than ever, they need to love themselves. Because
I was just going to say that. Can you imagine? Here I am saying that at, we're at 52 and 60s and 70s, 80s and 40s and 50s and all the things. But can you imagine if we teach what I just shared with y'all when they're 5?
Yes.
When they're 6, when they're 7? Because, you know, when you're that age, you're doing little things that mommy and daddy don't know about, but you're still like, oh, I'm so bad, but I'm not going to tell them, but I'm so bad. But if you teach them, you know what I'm saying? It's like the things that I hear now from my kids are like, you know what I did when I was...
Yeah, right.
You little stinker, what the heck?
Yeah.
If they can already understand truth and grace so young, like, what a beautiful gift. So thank you again for unwrapping all the beautiful gifts in your podcast today, and all the future ones that you will be blessing us all with.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, where can people self-promote yourself and anything that you're doing, by all means?
Thank you so much. So you can find me on the social media platforms, right? Instagram, again, my name, Ari Medrano Official, Ari Medrano on LinkedIn, or arimedrano.com. So you can feel free to find me there. I do one-on-one coaching for C-suite level folks. And the reason I started doing that, and that was specifically working with men, y'all, because that space is so needed for men. And I started doing that because, if I may just inject another little story as a storyteller, my brother is 26 plus years a senior master chief in the Navy and also a sheriff. And I just saw so much pain throughout the years with himself, just family, all the things, right? All the tours that he's been a part of course, it's going to have an impact. And so I asked him, I said, what about therapy? What about going? And he just looked at me. He's like, we don't do that kind of stuff like that. That impedes on clearances and all of these things. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something about that. And so that's what I do. I do one-on-one with kind of high level, right, folks who are impacting others in multiple ways. And so they are leaders, right? And or they are impacting in the corporate arena, but multiple folks. And so I do that, and I'm in that space. And so if you're looking for someone to work one-on-one with and get greater results in your life, whether personally or professionally, I'm your woman, and I'm here.
Awesome.
So good.
And I will attest, as somebody that was going through a very, very difficult time, talking to this person has been instrumental to me. So
when they say angels walk the earth.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Don't let me start. Gracias.
We appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time, and we'll stay in contact. I want to be able to do this in person one day, give you a giant freaking hug.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Right back to the two of you. Gracias.
Thank you.
If you want to hang out for 1 second, I'll stop this portion of it.